Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna, this is Coffee, Books, and Bullet Journals, and I am going to do a mid-month wrap-up for February. Okay, so February has already been a great month. I've already read 8 books and it's the 17th today, so I think that's when you're seeing this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that all happens. But anyways, yeah, I've already read 8 books. I've had a great reading month. So basically like a book every other day almost. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to go over stats in this one. This is basically just going to be me talking about the books because otherwise, if I don't, then my end of month wrap up will literally be 3 hours long and no one wants that. I'm really trying to not have to do this later because puppies, there are a few of them that only like to be held. Like held or eating, that's literally their only happy places. So you might see puppies at some point, but let's just go ahead and try to do this. The first book that I read in the month of February was Fence, Volume 4. This is obviously the 4th volume in the graphic novel Fence. It is about a fencing school and these boys that are trying to, like, at first they're trying to make the team, now they're trying to compete on the team, and, like, against other schools. It's really, really cute. It's very gay. Like, so gay. The entire series is on Hoopla, which is great if your library does support that. Check it out. And I highly encourage it. I gave it 4 stars. This one wasn't my favorite one in the series, but I still really, really enjoyed it. I had a really good time reading it. It seemed to drag on a little bit, and there was less of Aiden, and he's my favorite character. So that's my only complaint with it. But overall, still really, really good. And the graphics, like the art style, phenomenal. The second book that I read in the month of February was Slay by Brittany Morris, and I gave this 4.5 stars. This was a reread for me, but I did get to tab and annotate it this time. I'm not going to talk a ton about this because this is going to be the book that we talk about on the live show on Michelle's channel, which I will link down below. We're going to be doing that at the end of the month. I don't remember the date specifically, but it'll all be on the Twitter and the Discord and all that stuff. All that's down below. But this is about a girl who has never seen herself in video games, and so she creates her own, which is really cool. So she creates this whole VR experience for Black kids and Black people to be able to see themselves in a video game, and it's a phenomenal thing. Like, this girl is seriously talented, and there's so much like talk about diversity and just like the normal things that they have to go through that, like, I don't even think about because I'm white, and so, like, I don't have a problem seeing myself in a video game. So, like, it's really interesting. It's really eye-opening. It's why I love reading diverse books, because it's something that I can really I get to understand and see it from a different perspective. So anyways, one of the slayers gets killed in real life for basically over the money or like the currency that is in this game, and so then the creator thinks she's going to be sued, and there's this whole battle within the Slay world. It's so good. It's so well done. The book is just so well written, and I'm really, really looking forward to the conversation that we're going to be having on the live show. The next book I read was Shuri by Nick Stone, and this was a middle grade MCU book. I thought it was supposed to be like basically telling the events of Black Panther, but from Shuri's perspective, which it kind of is, but it definitely takes a lot of creative liberties. I'm very excited about the fact that it talks about mutants, which basically means that we're bringing mutants into the MCU, which, like, I'm here for, but I didn't love this book. I gave it 3 stars. I feel like there's such a disconnect because, like, they were trying to make it a middle grade book, so they made Shuri like 13 years old, but still with like the knowledge and power and like abilities that she has in the comics and in the movies, and that's just doesn't make sense. So she has all of this independence. Like, she literally goes to London on her own, but she's like 12 or 13 or something like that. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense. We had to take a lot of creative liberties, and for it being really short, I felt like it was a little too drawn out, and I was a little bit bored. So only gave it 3 stars, but I can see the audience for it, and it definitely would be good. Like, if you had a kid trying to, like, introduce them to the MCU, this would be a great book for that. Then I listened to the audiobook of Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I don't remember the author's name, but here's the cover of the book. This was a translated work from Japanese, and this was, like, super interesting. It's a sci-fi book-ish, but it has a lot of, like, literary fiction elements, and it really made you think, which is cool. Basically, there are a whole bunch of rules. You can go back in time or go forward in time, but you can only sit in the one chair. You can't leave that chair. If you leave that chair, you are pulled back to the present. And you can only stay while your coffee's hot. So you have to drink the whole cup of coffee before it gets cold, hence the title of the book. And then the other big thing is that what you do in the past or what you do in the future does not change the present. So the first person that comes in and wants to go in, she comes in and she wants to go back like 2 weeks because 2 weeks before at that coffee shop, her boyfriend broke up with her. And so she wants to like go in and like basically rehab that conversation so that they don't break up. But then we find out, like, oh, we can't change the present by doing something in the past. So it's interesting, and then you have to try to, like, figure out, well, why do you want to go to the past? Because X, Y, and Z can't happen. And so is there still, like, there was very psychological, and I was here for it. And, it was fascinating. You follow different characters throughout, so you just kind of see snippets. It's almost like a collection of short stories doing the same thing. Because you don't really follow the characters after their encounter at the coffee shop, except for one who ends up being the last character. So it was so good, though. I mean, I had a very good time listening to it. It's also on Hoopla if your library supports it. So, gave it 4 stars. Okay, then I read You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. And this is a queer YA contemporary about a girl who is trying to get a music scholarship, finds out she did not get the scholarship, and so she's trying to find basically money scholarships to get into this very prestigious music school. And her grandparents don't have a lot of money. She lives with her grandparents. Her grandparents don't have a ton of money, so she's trying to basically get these scholarships so that her grandparents, like, they've said they were going to sell their house so that she can go to the school, and she doesn't want them to do that. She lives in this town that idolizes prom. Like, prom to them is football in Texas. That's the equivalent. And they have a prom king and queen, and it's like this whole like election and this popularity contest, and they get all these points throughout the semester, and whoever becomes prom king and queen gets a scholarship. So her hating prom, like she doesn't want to be a prom queen, hates the whole idea of it. She signs up to be prom queen because she wants the scholarship, and throughout that meets this other girl who is also trying to be prom queen, and it's their cute little queer love story in a small town in Indiana where you don't want to be queer. It bucks a lot of societal norms. It talks about the fact that prom king and queen are very binary, and they had to wear dresses and suits, and you couldn't bring a partner of, you couldn't bring a prom date of the same gender or someone who was non-binary. It had to be male and female, and it talks about how that's really problematic, which I really appreciated. I gave this 4 stars. I really, really liked it. I didn't love it in the way that a lot of people loved this book last year. It's not going to be a favorite of mine, but it's a YA contemporary. And yes, it's queer and it's sapphic and it has a really good story to tell, but at its heart, it's a YA contemporary romance. And those books very rarely are ever favorites for me. So I really liked it for what it is, but it's not a favorite. The next book might be a favorite. Probably not of the year, but I loved it and it was 5 stars. And that was The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. This is a 2018 release, I think. So one of her earlier books. And it was so good. There were it was very tropey. Like, this is a tropey romance. But they were all of the tropes that I really loved. You have the reluctant royal who doesn't want to take the throne. He wants to be a playboy. You have the older heroine, like she's 30, which like we love to see. We have a hate to love romance. We have a fake engagement. And we have there's only one bed. There's only one bed. Like, that's one of my favorite romance tropes ever. So it's really good. There definitely are some conversations about domestic abuse, so go into that knowing that. Talia Hibbert does a phenomenal job at taking these real life serious issues that people deal with on a daily basis, and still giving them a happily ever after, which I love. So I loved this book. I had no doubt that I would. Then I read a graphic novel called Sentient by Jeff Lemire. Don't remember the other author, so there's the cover. I gave this one 2 stars. I really didn't like it. It was really boring. It took me like 5 days to read I don't even think it was 200 pages, a graphic novel. So there is that. I thought it was going to be like very Star Trek-y. It's like these AIs and like deep space. Thought it was going to be great. It actually was. The graphic novel starts out with someone killing all of the adults on this transport ship that's going to another planet. So there's only children on board, and then they kill themselves. So there's no adults on board. It's just these children. And then the AI like comes to life and it's like, I have to care for these kids. I have to take them to this new planet. And that was fine. Whatever. Then there's another AI on another ship that like tries to kidnap the kids. And like these 2 AIs are fighting over the kids. And like, what? I don't know. It was so weird. And and it's a standalone, so like I don't even know where I don't know where they would go from there, but like, what? I was really glad when it was over. Let's just say that. The art style is really cool, so that's why it's getting the 2 stars. I definitely I didn't hate every moment. Like, it was just boring. It wasn't problematic. There wasn't anything like inherently wrong with it. I was just bored. So that's why the 2 stars. But I am going to end on a very high note of probably my favorite book of the month so far. I don't know that anything else will top it, honestly. Like, of the stuff that I have in the rest of the month, I don't think anything will top it. But that is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. She's done it again. She's a magician. This woman can do no wrong. And this book is phenomenal. This is the prequel to The Hate U Give. And it's so good. It's Maverick's origin story. And so a lot of the things that happen in The Hate U Give, you kind of see why he does what he does or says what he says. And it was really cool. I actually reread The Hate U Give in September or October last year, so it's relatively fresh on my mind. So this is it was just so good. This book was so good. There's bisexual rep in this. There's adult bisexual representation. It's not the teenagers, it's an adult, which is really cool to see. You don't see that a lot in YA. So that's really cool. And I mean, this wasn't as I don't want to say it's not as powerful as The Hate U Give. It's not as in your face powerful. It doesn't have that like defining moment of like a kid getting shot by a police officer. It doesn't have that. It's more just the like everyday struggles of the people of Garden Heights. And it was really good. I mean, I can't relate to Maverick in a way that like that is not my life at all. But Angie Thomas did such a phenomenal job at telling us the story, telling us who Maverick is, that I could understand where he was coming from and understand what he was going through. So highly recommend this book. This book will probably end up on a favorites list. of the year. I can just like see it now. I don't know, maybe we'll see. Okay, so ending on a high note, just finished that book yesterday. I actually haven't started anything yet, which is weird. Normally, like, I have things going kind of at the same time, but I was listening to that on audio, and I finished The Princess Trap earlier in the week, and I haven't really had a chance to pick up anything else physically, so I haven't read anything else. So thank you all for watching. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there is a little red button that you can do so down below the video, and all of the other links to my social media will be in the description below if you would like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Makes this heart beat faster.